Yo, my peoples, what's up? Welcome to Shelf Stories, the channel that tells tales from games, books, and life. I am your host, Jason. Thank you so much for stopping by for this latest episode of Shelf Help, the series where I provide tips and tricks on how to become a happier gamer and a happier person. It is holiday season 2020. Happy holidays, however you choose to celebrate the end of the year. I hope that it is blessed and relieving for you. This has been a really tough year for many of us, so I hope that the holidays that you find some respite during the holidays. But unfortunately, that's not true for a lot of folks. I'm a psychotherapist, and I get a pretty decent chunk of emails from people saying, I know we don't see each other that much, but I need you today, or I need you this week. Do you have any openings? I don't feel good. And the holidays are an occasion where people don't feel very good. Stressed and depressed and all the different things that come up. The holiday blues is a definite thing. So what I wanted to do is lay out 3 in sequential order, minor tips. I say minor, I guess obvious, but so obvious that we forget. Maybe you need that external voice to help you remember how to keep things together to at least survive the holiday season. And maybe, I don't know, find a little bit of happiness. So without further ado, 3 tips for the holiday blues. So the first tip that I would like to provide is recognize. So what do I mean by recognize? You'd be really surprised at the number of people who come into my session and I ask, how you doing? They say that I'm not doing well. Really, what's going on? I don't know. I have no clue. I just know I don't feel good. And so then, it's your mood. How could you not know? But it comes to you have this kind of sense of upsetness with you, but you can't locate where exactly the source of the upsetness is. You can't say the word, the word's kind of escaping you. And when it comes to emotional work, words matter. Identification matters. When you properly figure out what you're feeling and why you're feeling it, that can actually give you a leg up to try to turn things around a little bit. And I do not take that process for granted at all. So you're upset. What could be the problem? Stress. Okay, you're stressed. Where's the stress coming from? Is the stress coming from outside, like genuine obligations? A lot of people have that. Or is the stress coming up from here? Maybe we have some perfectionist tendencies. Maybe we're just driven by a sense of guilt or something, but just stress from somewhere. That's a particular thing. Anger. Okay, what's the anger about? Is the anger from something reacting to something that happened, or is the anger out of a sense of disappointment, self-disappointment? You're angry at yourself for something. Is it shame that you feel? Is it inadequacy that you feel? Lonely. That's a big one, and it has a lot of flavors. It has, are you lonely because there's genuinely no one around? Are you lonely because you don't want to connect with the people who are reaching out to you? Are you lonely in a crowd, so to speak? Are you lonely because of grief, because you've lost somebody? There's people there, but the person you want around, or people you want around, are no longer around. It sounds so basic, but once we put words to it, words matter. Once we identify and can just really drill down on, that's how I feel. I don't feel angry. I feel resentful. I don't feel stressed. I feel pressured, and the pressure's coming from this area. It's like getting a diagnosis from a doctor. It's like finding out what's wrong with your car. It's like anything where there's a generalized thing. If you can drill down and figure it out, you may get to find a handle on moving forward. So write it down, just free association on a paper. I recommend writing things on paper. It just wakes up more neural pathways. The act of writing, people are figuring out. But if you're a texting or have a paper, that's fine. And if you want to do it with somebody else, that's also fine. But either way, just the more work that you can do to develop an emotional vocabulary for yourself, you get power, and you might be able to begin to turn your mood around. My next tip is self-care. Another one that people will be surprised by. The number of clients that I have encountered that haven't showered in so long a time, and it's COVID land. So I see a lot of people like this on the screen, and there are people who have not left their house in however long. They haven't showered. They haven't changed their clothes. They're wearing the same jogging pants or yoga pants for 8, 9, 10 days straight. And I hope that people are listening to this and not getting that flame of judgment, because these are regular, just everyday workaday people, the people that we rely on, just to run, that teach our children and that cook our meals, and that they're just normal people that just fall into that. They get that self-neglect going on. They get the sense of like, why bother? What's it gonna do? How is showering? How is doing my makeup? How is making myself presentable? How does that help the situation? I think in particular of a lady. She has a special needs child, and you can get into a real pickle with that. And this happened to be a really bad time, and she hadn't really taken care of herself. And I gave her the recommendations, like, okay, maybe the first step we need to do is step in the shower. And she says to me, "That's ridiculous. How is a shower going to help my child?" How is not showering helping the child? Maybe by improving yourself, you can improve your ability to handle the situation. Sure enough, later in the day, she emails me. She says, "You're right. Gosh darn it, you're right. I'll see you next week." It really does matter that just the little things that we can do to take care of ourselves. Feet on the floor after like you wake up, that your feet should be on the floor out of your bed within like the first 5 to 10 minutes. If you wake up and you find yourself laying in a bed a long time, just put your feet on the floor. Even if you get back in bed, just put your feet on the floor. See what happens. Go outside. Oh my goodness. I know it's cold, but and I know it's COVID. There's no real reason to quote unquote go outside, but there is a reason. The reason is this. We need this. I read a stat, and this was before COVID. The average American gets less outside time on a typical day than a maximum security prisoner. Many prisoners in that situation are mandated 17 minutes of outside time a day, scientifically proven to reduce stress and prevent riots. And we voluntarily give ourselves less between office and car and home. And that was before COVID. It's gone way down since then. I can't tell you how many people are struggling with memory, struggling with just perception, just eyesight is going. All these cognitive functions are starting to go over because of long-term time indoors. Just, you don't even have to have a reason. The only reason is increasing these neural connections. Go outside. And then the last thing I'll mention, the blessing and the curse of our personal devices, especially phones. I probably should dedicate a whole shelf-help to this, but I think I'm just going to leave it at some food for thought. Research is starting to emerge that if you can spend, or if you can keep your social media consumption, I think one study I saw was focused on Facebook, but just general social media consumption. If you keep it around 2 hours, you generally find happiness kind of stays stable with someone who's not has a phone at all. Once you get higher than that, 2, 3, 4 hours, then the happiness starts to dip, or the overall sense of happiness. And if you don't think you're spending 2 hours, if you think you have it handled at 2 hours, then I suggest you either get a screen time app or just check your screen time. It will tell you how much time that phone is on. It's usually way more than you think. So just kind of watch the screen time in general. And the other thing is, basically what I've come to think about the phone, I think of it as like a slot machine in my pocket. When I'm doom scrolling, what I'm really doing is I'm just pulling the lever at a slot machine, hoping for a jackpot, hoping for a notification, hoping for somebody interesting or something interesting to see, hoping for that I refresh my email. Oh, I got an email. What you're looking for is that jackpot sense. And what that does, it releases that dopamine. You get that hit. It's like, oh God, finally, I feel good. It's the phone is designed like that. They specifically based a lot of the phone design on slot machines. And, I think anybody who's been at a casino knows that the person who is just putting quarters. Is that person having fun? Put yourself in that position. Are you having fun putting quarters? And then the last tip that I'll talk about is realign your connections. And I phrase that very particularly because usually when you get that advice about how to solve the holiday blues, you'll see some variation of reach out. You're feeling lonely, reach out. You're feeling stressed off, get it off your chest with somebody. Just reach out. Generally great advice, but like anything, if it was that simple, we would just do it and feel fine. There's so many people that are in the position of, well, I'm trying to reach out. I don't want to reach out. I don't have the energy. I don't want anybody to see me like this. There's so many reasons that we kind of come up for ourselves to not reach out. And I guess the only thing I'll say to that is I want to completely and utterly just validate people's reasons for that they don't want to reach out, that they isolate. They don't want to be seen. They don't want people to see them like this. They don't want to have to deal with people's, BS or whatever it is. On and on and on. It kind of doesn't change the fact that we're built for feedback, that we're built for this. And if your immediate connections are not giving you what you need, then try to expand the circle a little bit as much as you can. I actually do this exercise with clients. I'll have them write down their most intimate connections on a paper, and then is this a safe space? No? Okay. Draw a circle. Next level. Draw a circle. Next level. And then on the outside of the page is strangers, community people, church leaders, call some like 311 or something like that. In Connecticut, it's 311, or like your kind of local helpline or whatever. There's always something. And as much as we want to play the movie in our heads that we're going to just be frustrated, just the point isn't to feel to cure things. The point isn't to not feel lonely. The point is just to get things turned around, just to, make things a little bit better, and any decent connection will do that. Try to be generous. If you don't feel like, you make it about yourself, just blindly volunteer somewhere. There's all sorts of opportunities to volunteer, especially in the holidays. I know it's COVID. I know there's a pandemic going on, but there are a lot of people out there that are doing that work, and they could use all the hands they can get. And the other thing I'll say is, I specifically say realign your relationships because there are some people for whom that is not a problem. As a matter of fact, they have the opposite problem. They have too many people, too many obligations. This person needs me to cook for them. This person, I promised to go hang out with them. I have a weekly meetup with this one. I got presents. I got to get presents for everybody. On that particular case, the person who's lonely needs permission to say, yes, let's reach out. The person who is overwhelmed needs permission to say, not now. Not no. Not necessarily no, just not now. If there's a person that is, reaching out, it's like, okay, let's make a plan for later. I'm kind of occupied right now, but I will follow up later. I'm never a huge fan of okay, no, we're not going to hang out because there's nowhere to go from there. Just you know what, later. And if they know you and if they're a worthy connection, they'll likely go along. Maybe they don't want to, maybe they don't want to go along, but if they like you and if it's if it's a person that's worth keeping, maintaining your life, they'll come around. They'll understand. So realign. Is it too much? Is it too little? Find that harmonious spot where you're connecting and you're getting the real connection that you may need. So that was 3 tips on what you can do to possibly make this holiday season a little bit better, a little bit less depressing, to help alleviate some of that, holiday blues feeling. Obvious, right? Some of this is so obvious, but in fact, it's so obvious we might forget it. We might just need that extra voice to remind us of things that we should known to have done the entire time. So I am very happy to hear that, to be that voice, and I am very happy to hear your voice. Happy to hear about your experience with holiday blues. Happy to hear about what you've done to try to bust through that, or to try to help somebody else through that situation. Please reach out to me, Shelf Stories GBL on the Twitter. I'm on Facebook. I'm on BGG, user Pope Sixtus. I am so passionate about bringing common sense mental health or just wellness and happiness just perspectives to our community. There is no reason why we can't just give everything that we can so that as many people as possible have a good, or at least a not so bad holiday season. So this is Jason reminding you, if you could change your mind, you could change the world. So until next time, later everybody.